morning. It's Ginny and Tim at DS Tech in
Hello.
Escanaba, Michigan. And we're going to talk about if you're using free tools.
Yes.
Is it time to get the full package?
Yeah.
And pay for it. So, and we got some clues for you about whether it is time to move to a paid tool or not. And of course, we are heavily invested in Microsoft 365.
Yes.
But certainly there are other tools available out there. So, but that's what we know. So that's what we can talk about. Anyway, so drop your questions as we go and let us know if we can help you with your migration into a paid version.
Yes.
Anyway, so let's talk about this. There's some interesting points in here.
So most of our businesses that we are currently doing business with are probably already on the paid versions of these tools. But for the smaller businesses where you have a smaller team of people, using free tools and things like that makes sense to a certain point once your business grows, and then at that point usually kind of make the transition over. So kind of going over here, free tools are great until they're not. If you've ever lost a file, missed a deadline, or found yourself toggling between 5 various apps to just send one update, you may not be alone. Today we're going to talk about the breaking point with various free tools and how sometimes using a paid version of a tool, in our example we're going to talk about Microsoft 365 with the same thing. There's, I think, G Suite offers a paid version with all the same features. So there's paid versions of a lot of these tools as well, and that can actually be the upgrade that your business needs. Usually the initial thought of like, I got to pay a monthly subscription for this. Is it really going to bring value to my team? And all those other things that come into play with that. We'll kind of talk through some of that here. So why do the free tools work at first? Well, let's just be honest. We all love free tools because, they're free. And if they do the job, why would I pay for something that I can do for free, even if it's like a little extra work? Because when you're starting your business, you don't mind putting the work in yourself because it's all pure profit. It's just your time that you're investing in your own business, which makes sense. But then once you start to grow, you have more staff that are relying on these tools, and it's not just your own time, but other people's time to invest as well. It may make sense. So it talks about some of these other free tools that you may have heard. So it's like Notion, Trello, get free Google Docs, even free OneDrive, right, until you get the paid version. Zoom free can be lifesavers because they're low risk, easy to try. They do solve single specific problems. Usually you don't need a credit card required to get your free demo. Usually you can just try it for a little bit for business, and they're perfect for small teams just getting started or like a little side project, right? An example is, you have a 3-person team and they're using Trello to track their tasks on a project. They're using Zoom free to do their client communication calls with some clients, and they're using Google Docs for sharing proposals, maybe back and forth. But the Google Docs are from their personal Gmail accounts and they're going back and forth. You don't have your actual business domain. There's some things that are kind of not exactly completely knit together with that. And so that's where it comes in kind of the friction, where free tools can kind of take it so far before cracks start to show. So if you have that 3-person team, you're kind of communicating pretty close knit, works out well. Well, once that 3-person team becomes a 6 or even a 10-person team, and now you got more emails, you don't have a centralized hub where all the docs are being stored, and it's kind of just everything everywhere, it can definitely become unmanageable very quick. So some of the other complaints is, I can't find the right version of the file. I think of like a construction company where you might have drawings in the office, then drawings in the field, and people are sending drawings back and forth. And it's like, if you're not on the exact latest version of the drawing that's marked up, you may be doing something that you're not supposed to, or whatever it is.
Or you can't even open it.
You can't even open it, even if it's the wrong program, because you're using these free tools and you don't have the paid one.
Or if you're using the old like Office.
Right, Office Word or whatever it was, a WordPad or whatever it was called or something, and it's not the right file format. You can't even open it in your Word format. I can definitely see that being a friction too.
I just remember like the scenarios where so-and-so has Office, what's the latest version anyway?
I just
2024 or something, I don't know. Or 2019.
It seems like 2019 and Office is like the last one I've seen. I don't even know if they have They probably do have a new one.
It might be 2019, but whatever. It doesn't matter. They would have different versions of the software installed on different computers.
I've seen it, yeah.
And then
this was created using Office 2019. You're using Office 2016, and it's not compatible with blah blah blah.
You can't open it. You can't share. You can't edit.
Or it says features are missing. You can only get read only. It's just limitations and stuff. So
pain in the butt.
File versions can be kind of issues. So multiple copies saved in various locations. USB drives, Dropbox, desktops, email threads. It can be kind of chaos without having a centralized hub. Zero control over the security because, again, the free apps, usually you can't have MFA that you're controlling through like an admin portal. Important data governance we'll talk about that you can get with the other paid subscription version. Everyone's using something different. So again, one person could be on Slack, someone's in Discord, someone's in WhatsApp, someone's texting someone. It's just kind of, if you're using all these free apps, it can be, again, useful, but to have like, this is the app we use for communication for our business, and have everyone in one spot. It makes more sense and it's more streamlined. And it can feel kind of like everything's take together when you have all these little projects.
Yeah.
Again, it's perfect for your home lab. Like at my home lab, I do these projects and I get all
for
these
sure.
tools and do whatever, and it's great. But when it comes to running the actual business, you should have some standardized software and things like that. So going into kind of what Microsoft 365 does do well with a lot of the different things we've talked about. And again, you can do most of this as well with G Suite. I can only speak to what I know, which is the Microsoft 365. So again, there's unified tools. So you got your Outlook, Teams, OneDrive, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. All of this is in one big bundle. So that way, when your staff are all working on them, everyone's on the latest version of Word because it's the same version. That's one thing that's with the subscription Microsoft 365 as well, is you're getting the latest version all the time. You're not buying Office 2019 and then it's good for a year or two, and then you got to buy a whole Office 2021 and it's good for a year or two, and you're buying these big versions every couple of years. Now it's just you're paying a monthly subscription fee and you're always getting the latest version no matter what.
And the latest updates.
And the latest updates for security too. So if you're using the web versions as well, it makes it easier because you're going to their web portal. It's always the latest version of the app. There's no bugs or anything that's missing because you didn't update your desktop application.
And even the web versions are pretty much full blown. I mean,
they have, I'd say, like 95% of all the features of the desktop apps are a little bit different. The UI is a little bit different, but once you start playing with it, it's just like anything else, and it'll work really well. So having those unified tools again and unified locations, so where now you go to that same project team and you're like, here's our project folder, all of our communications are going in here, and here's our proposals, and you can have a kind of a dedicated SharePoint or a location that everyone's working out of. So the latest version and the latest files are all in there, and you can actually do collaborative editing where you can have multiple people in the same file at the same time. So no longer is the version that you have in your email the latest version, or is it this version? It's like, nope, the version in this folder is the version we're working off of live, and it will always be the updated latest and greatest version.
I have this inventory tracking Excel spreadsheet that I share with the techs that are in other locations.
Yep.
And that's exactly how I figured out, because I had a rogue copy somewhere, but when I was in the right file, I could see that Ben had edited it. I'm like, oh, this is the right file.
This is the right one because it's in the centralized location. Yep. Because that's what will happen is you might have, without these centralized tools, you're gonna have copies all over the place, and you won't get that insight of seeing the location too. So having that's really useful too.
Yeah, that was cool. And I can open it anywhere, because it's on the OneDrive. So if
whether you're in the office, you're in the cabinet, or wherever you're at, you'll be able to, exactly, perfect. And again, with all the unified tools, with having everything be collaborative and work well, the big advantage that I like to speak to is the security, because once you finally get a paid tool, it's made for business, so it's going to have better security controls in place that you can configure. So like multi-factor authentication, you can do things like what's called conditional access. So what used to be, if say Ginny's a new hire, I'd have to go there and click on Ginny's account, turn on MFA, do a few things. You can have this rule in place that says anytime we get a new employee, they just have to have multi-factor. No longer do you need to go there and micromanage every employee as they're coming in and going. You can kind of just have a default rule in place. And so those are conditional access rules, which we can build with paid versions. Data loss prevention. If you are worried about a rogue employee taking all the contacts and data and stealing it before they quit, you can put rules in place that will look for signs where someone's downloading files they shouldn't, or various things, and it can help stop that. Or threat actors, in this case, say you get an unauthorized user into your tenant through someone's email and they're copying a bunch of company data, you can actually have rules in place that look for that, alert, and stop that before they take all that data. Because a common thing that threat actors are doing now too is they're not just putting ransomware on your computer and saying give us money to unlock your files. They're doubling that with trying to extort them, saying, well, we locked your files and we actually stole all of your company, and we're going to post it to the news unless you pay us money. And so they're doing all this other stuff. So having data loss prevention with that is definitely huge for your business.
Which actually, as a cybersecurity company, we make sure that you have all those tools in place.
Oh yeah.
And programmed or whatever.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
So
when you buy one of the packages, if you're a partner with us, we definitely have a set of standards of like, you're going to get this turned on, and some of it's non-negotiable, like multi-factor. It's like it has to be on because it's too much of a liability without it anymore, and it just makes no sense. And as frustrating as it can be sometimes to get your work done, It's just the way the world is now. We just got to take those extra steps, unfortunately. So, and then the administrative controls of users, devices, and sharing. Same thing. It's like certain users can have access to certain data, and you can kind of do that on the fly in the back end very easily, granting control, onboarding, offboarding, and doing a lot more with these centralized tools where you can add access and remove access. Where if you're running off USBs and personal emails and that employee leaves, you have no control over their personal email, their desktop, and those files, so you don't know what they're using. So having a centralized location and a hub that you can control access to is definitely makes more sense from a business standpoint for security. And then again, the last thing is smarter collaboration. You can have shared calendars, shared files, just share things a little bit more easier, and it works well in hybrid environments where you don't just have an office, but you have remote employees, because then everyone can share and be part of the team as well, not just having to be in the office to be part of the team because you're sharing. You can actually have all that functionality for remote employees as well. So
all of our remote employees, it's like they're part of it. It's like they're here, only they're not.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of neat.
You don't see them at lunches often, but
no.
For the work and stuff, they're definitely around.
For sure.
And so I guess kind of sometimes some signs that it's time to upgrade. So don't wait for the crash and burn moment where something happens, before obviously you move. If your business is starting to grow and you're kind of feeling the pressure of like having to scramble around a little bit more than just do the work, like you're finding more of your time is gathering the information, putting it together than doing the actual work, that's usually a sign that let's consolidate those tools and come up with like a centralized thing. So that's actually, you're sharing business files through personal Gmail or Dropbox accounts. That's usually a sign you should probably step up and get like a business grade version or a paid version. You're manually copying between various applications. You're losing files and email trails, or worse, a client because of some miscommunication or things like that.
Yeah.
You're spending more time managing tools than doing actual work. That was when I was just kind of speaking to there. And then if the team is asking, what's the latest version, or where should we be doing this? Or if they're getting a lot of those questions from your team on like what application, where do we save that again? What do we do again? Having a centralized hub again with a standard set of rules that everyone can be on will definitely help with that and remove some of that friction. And then if you're worried about switching, right, you have all these files all over the place. You're like, I don't even know where to begin. It seems too overwhelming. I'm just going to keep doing business like I do it because I know how to run it. And the idea of stopping that completely is overwhelming. Just bring in DS Tech. We can definitely take a look at everything, how you're operating, and come up with a plan prior to moving it. So that way there's limited to no downtime at all. We've definitely gone through our share of migrations, some great, some not so great. And we've learned some of that pain. And if it ever comes up during the migration, we have plans in place to address it and get it done quickly because we've seen it all already. So you're definitely in good hands with a migration with us. And so if you have any questions or you're kind of hesitant because you're just uncertain with it, just reach out. It doesn't hurt anything to reach out and come up with a plan. And then at that point, you can decide to pull the trigger or back out if you still want to. So, but yeah, so free tools can be great again. Home labs, they're fun. It's always fun to try out stuff as well. But usually when it comes to getting to a certain point and a certain size of your business where it scales, usually having a paid tool will definitely bring the productivity up there. It'll be more secure and it's just better for everyone all involved. As long as you can. Unfortunately, it's not going to break your business because obviously the cost is the biggest thing you want to factor in. But again, don't just get sticker shocked because the cost will have underlying things that you don't necessarily see, like increased productivity. Your staff aren't spending as much time replying, looking for files, things like that. And all that's sometimes hard to quantify on just a price tag, but it will definitely improve everything. And then you'll have happier clients because you're responding to them faster as well. So usually it's a win overall. And don't just let the price kind of scare you away and dive into some of those paid tools and some of the advanced features you get with that. So
because your time is worth something for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Especially when you're a growing business, because you need to leverage the tools more to make more time for yourself so that you can grow. Anyway, so reach out if you're ready to migrate. Just go to dstech.net and fill in the form and get in touch with us, or just drop a comment and I'll get in touch with you. So make it a great day. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.